we're getting ready to zero guns, collect data, do some of that stuff. We're going to work at 100, and I think we're going to go from there. I don't know what we're doing after that, but I figure while we wait, I would show you some of the guns that are on the line, because I think you guys would geek out about that.
Things like kit setup, right? So if you notice here, all my stuff on my belt, I'm keep it free between my hips. All right, why do you think that is?
So you don't lay down on it.
Yeah, so I can, when I'm in the prone, I'm not getting pushed off my natural point of aim. Ideally, you know, if you're like cop roll, you like taser stuff, you don't have the option to do all that. But if you can, try and slim your stuff down here. Also, not just in the prone, but when I take cover behind things, right? So especially behind like cars, I'm getting in really tight spots, trying to get down there. I'm not binding myself up by having big pouches here that I can't push my knee all the way up into, right? So don't keep too much on me. Pistol mag, rifle mag. This is more an admin type thing for like working on the range. I usually don't run around with this thing open because, you know, snag hazard. I just need like the new handicap door handles. You catch this bad boy on that when you have 3 guys coming in behind you, big trouble. You know, make sure in the back, fixed blades pistol, mostly for like prying stuff like screens, doors, things like that. All right, on my assault pack here, I had a tripod. Tripod would sit over on this side. You guys seen this yet? You just go to Home Depot, just a 4x4 rubber pipe coupling, right? And all it does is it keeps this little pocket open. So when I put it in tripods, things like that, it keeps it from snagging. Makes it nice and easy to get back in there if I have to move. Yep, again, whether you're at a comp or doing real world stuff, being able to deploy and put your stuff back fast is pretty key. So that fits nice in there. I got that right in my pack. So all I have, this is just shot cord with one of those fast X buckles that you can hook in on your own. So all I have to do to take this guy out is just pop it, comes right out, goes right back in, hooks on. That's pretty much the fastest way I've seen people to do all that. And the way I pack my pack is all the stuff I might need to shoot is right up here on the top. So my lure, Kestrel, everything else, so I can access my shooting stuff while I'm using my bag. You know, so many times we tell guys, hey, go ahead and get your laser rangefinder out. And they're like, oh, okay. And they're like digging way down in there and pulling like everything out of their bag. So when we start, as we get through the week here and we start going and shooting distance stuff and shooting with cadence, right, it's going to allow you to stay on that target and fire rapid follow-up shots, right, which is pretty key here to the whole system. How much does that drive me off? All right, the shot's breaking, and I'm already, by the time the gun is finished cycling, I'm already back exactly to the same spot. Like I'm catching the round exactly at the center of my crosshairs. Again, on the trigger, like I talked about in the classroom, I'm gonna take off safe. I'm going to touch the trigger, take up the slack. I'm gonna hit that wall, which is very kind of not really much of a wall. Once I put enough pressure on it, the shot breaks, I'm going to trap it to the rear just until the gun is finished cycling, and then I'm going to reset it. All right, I'm already back on the trigger. It's ready to go. All right, I'm not sitting there. I'm not pinning it to the rear for an extended amount of time and then just letting it ease back forward. Did you see any perceptible delay in me getting the gun reset? No. But am I slapping my finger off the trigger all the way? All right, I told you some of those guys that'll shoot, they'll shoot, and it's like their trigger got electrified, and they're shooting their finger off the trigger as fast as possible. Don't want to do that. You know, stay connected. That's going to allow you to get those rapid follow-up shots. Any questions so far? Larry?
So guys, one thing we talk about and really harp on natural point of aim, right? One thing, along with the natural point of aim of our body and our rifle aligned at the target, think about the natural point of aim, if you will, of your equipment. So if the gun doesn't naturally want to point towards the target, or be at the right elevation or whatever it is on the target. Like some guys, you can come play with this in bipod height and rear bag manipulation. So if you have your bipod too high, I see it a ton of times. Like people are squeezing the hell out of that rear bag and almost having to like lift it off of the ground to even get it in contact with the back of the buttstock. Obviously, that leads to instability. So if you need to play with that bipod height, so it like Jay's talking about, as soon as you settle that bag in, like all the media should be completely compressed in that bag while you're taking the shot. We take the muzzle velocity and you put it into some sort of ballistic solver along with a ton of other information, and that kind of lets it know obviously how fast the bullet's going. Faster the bullet's going, the slower it's going to fall out of the sky, essentially. The slower it's going, the faster it's going to fall out, which equates to your data. So this is the chronograph. This one's called the magneto speed. There's a bunch of different chronographs out there. The lab radar is good. Sometimes it's a little finicky to set up. So these ones, the magneto speed, actually, it's just 2 magnets inside of here. When the bullet crosses over top of those, it just does the backwards math and gives you an actual, no shit, muzzle velocity. So when we chronograph, I like to say get at least 5 shots. We're going to do 10, just like any other scientific experiment. The larger sample size you have, the more accurate numbers you're going to get. So his max was 2807, min was 2753 for an average of 2788 with an SD of 15 feet per second. Most like kind of range ball ammo, if you will, like blaster ammo. Most of that stuff, the SDs, it's not loaded for precision, right? So the SDs with that, if you're shooting ball ammo, I would expect anywhere from 20 to upwards of 50. Like
100
you can see some pretty bad stuff out there. Match ammo, when you get into match, ideally you want to be 15 or less. Anything under 10 is like really good. Most guys are hand load. Like if you're in single digit SDs, you're doing pretty well.
We'll start off 200. Shift my hips, drive myself over. Got the watermark. All right, going for 3. 350. 4. 450. 5. A little high on that guy. 550. And 6. As we keep going, right, we're just going to start building speed and shrinking the targets on you, right? Really force that data management piece.
These are a magical little tool that can give you a ton of different information. You can learn a ton about ballistics and everything that's happening with your bullet downrange with these things. So obviously, kind of the big advantage of owning a Kestrel is it gives you actual station weather, right? What I mean is like station weather is like it's where we are. Like it's not pulling from the nearest airport that, like Jay was saying yesterday. We're at a different elevation that the airport in Whitefield is right now, right? So it can give you the actual temperature, humidity, station pressure, all that stuff from like literally right here where it is, right? Because although it's like we saw, like a lot of you guys saw, it's only a tenth or two from what it was today at 600. Long range is about managing all all the little small variables.
We're going to work out the same way, that 200 to 600 every 50 yards, where we're going to keep shrinking the targets on you. I expect you guys to get faster and faster at your data management. If you're in like a gunfight, like what do you think the two most common exposures you're going to see? It's not a full silhouette of somebody. You know, the only time I ever saw that was when somebody didn't know I was there yet. And that doesn't last very long once the shooting starts. So what you normally see is someone ahead and a rifle coming out of a rock pile or around a tree or something like that. Or you see those people as they're moving from cover to cover, so they're sprinting away from you at like 45-degree angles and stuff. It's generally the two most common things.
High right.
Dead center on that last one.
Right edge. There you go.
Okay, one more. There it is. That looks good.
High left.
Re-engage. For every mil of elevation held, 2.5 degrees of cant will throw your bullet off, whichever way you're canted, 0.05 of a mil, which doesn't sound like much, right? But how easy it to detect from here to there? It's almost nothing, right? So if you're holding 4 mils, that's 2/10. That's 2/10 of a mil. And that's only with 2.5 degrees of cant. How easy is it to shoot when you're shooting off of something uneven, off of rocks or something like that? You're looking up range where there's nothing level for you to reference. For you to be canted a lot more than that. And you see how those things start to compound, and that will throw you off the edge of the target. It absolutely will. Especially between shots, if you're canted and you're not canted, like I said. Like some people will shoot and they'll miss, and then they'll fix their cant, but they'll adjust for what they think is wind, and then they're off the other end like, what? And the wind switched. Wind didn't switch, you just fixed your cant. Corrections. So if this is your target, right? Obviously targets aren't this tall, but if this is kind of the width of your target here, and you shoot and you miss just off of an edge, most people, newer shooters, are like, well, damn, I just missed it. I only need a small correction to hit the target. Yeah, you need a small correction to nick the edge of the target. We want to correct all the way to the center of the target, right? So if you miss off an edge, kind of a good rule of thumb, correct at least 75% of the width of the target over. So making bold corrections is always going to be much better than making these tiny little minute corrections. Tiny little minute corrections is good when you're on the plate and you're just correcting the center.
Put your thumb behind it.
So bump over to the 66%.
Re-engage.
Still holding 1 mil right in the center.
Yep.
That one went high.
Try it. This guy.
That went high.
That's 1 mil. I'm going way high.
Which one are you on, Jimmy?
The 350.
350?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it. Okay, go to the 66%. So now we'll go to 4, 66%. Light steep right off the bottom. Yep, just off the bottom, go to the full size.
Even off the.
That might be just
Yeah,
off the bottom of that as
Okay.
well.
Fall it off.
Hold 1 mil in the back
Okay.
line,
Yep.
and we'll see how far down it is. Yeah, you're right on the bottom third.
Okay.
Probably 4 inches above the bottom target.
Okay. So that's probably
Start.
just a half mil left. Yeah.
So take this arm. Okay, yeah, you're pretty even there. Not too bad.
Ryan keeps his fork well and not really.
Stand by, go. Coming in. Yep, anywhere you want. Okay.
What's target?
Right there on the board.
Him.
Impact.
Nice. Good job. Go clear it out.
Nice work, Jimmy.
Good job. You were over time, but you got hit.
Center and just rebuild, reshoot on the ambush. Later, you see we got those ports there. We're gonna play with that because it forces you to do your ambush, right? So I'm just gonna build a good position. I'm gonna sit up in front of him, and then I'm just gonna wait for him to get to the right spot. All right, 2 mils works all day long. All right, coming back the other way. All right, I'm gonna build it once it gets to the spot. All right, so tracking again from the prone. All right, we got a lot of meat in contact with the ground here. That's gonna kind of slow me down a little bit. As soon as he comes out, I'm gonna get him with tracking. I told you, tracking in contact with the ground is not the best because you're constantly having to shift and you're just dragging yourself on it. We get up off the ground, it's going to be so much easier. Yes.
Would you hold point blank zero for this? Just hold 1 mil and go for it, or are you?
You can. You've got so much margin of error. A mil at this range is like 4 inches, right? That target's 20 inches tall. You got 5 mils margin of error up and down on that, so you can just hold center. So we're gonna shoot this guy down here a little bit. Then we're gonna shoot off the barricades, so you guys get to see what it feels like. Then we're gonna bounce back to the tower, and it'll make that 150, and then we'll shoot the other guy up there. That's 300. So you're gonna get to play with different leads. Then we're gonna do all kinds of fun stuff like bounce back and forth, and then I'm gonna have you work known distance, but in between your known distance targets, you gotta tag the mover, right? So it's known distance, tag the mover, next one out, tag mover, work out and work in, right? Yeah.
I did well on that last exercise. I can't wait to do that. Jimmy, with your night force that you have on your scope, you know, it has that, you know, there's the center dot, and then there's the big black ring around it.
Yep.
Really, from like 1 to 200, that black ring is like perfect. As soon as the target hits the outer black ring and you rip one, like that will center you up almost every time.
Yeah, a walking target with the attacker is just ridiculous.
Pretty legit.
Oh, I thought about it.
As soon as it comes out. In front of it.
Yep. Did I get him?
Yeah. That was a hit.
Nice. Just tight.
Got it.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going to.
Yeah, there's that white one at the back of Bravo, and then there's one at the back.
Got it.
You're going right over it before. Nice.
Okay.
You're right on now. Okay with that? Dead center. Ripping it up. It's easier farther, right?
Yeah, it is way easier.
Yeah.
Because your adjustments aren't so great.
Right.
Yeah.
You ready?
Nice.
Oh, that's me.
Front.
That was me.
Okay. Yeah, you were low right.
Did it slow down?
Nope. There you go. Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nope. There you go.
Doesn't count past the comp.
I got it right before.
You did.
You did. Nice.
Nice.
Speed of sound, right? It's a few hundred feet per second. So if you're shooting and you're waiting to hear the ding of the steel, you're wasting time, right? He's going to trust his reticle in here and know that he's doing everything correctly. And so he's going to be able to shoot and not wait. His rounds are going to cover up the dings of the steel except for the last couple because those 2 rounds are already in flight. You know, like I was saying, like meat doesn't ding when you hit it. You know, if you're shooting like an animal or a person, whatever, and you're waiting to hear something, right? We're trying to get you out of listening to stuff because guys they shoot on steel all the time and they get in this bad habit of not trusting the sights and looking for the impacts of the round, but listening for the sound of that steel ding, right? And you're only slowing yourself down. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to shoot that 1 second cadence, which sounds like, all right, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005.
All right, you ready?
Stand by. I'm going to give you a beep, and then you can just go whenever.
Okay.
All right, so there's this beep.
1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005.
All right. So he's right at those high point 8s, point 9s, right in there. All right. Now we're going to do it again. He's going to go a half second, right? So it's going to sound like and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Go ahead. All right, we're already getting to the point where the gunshots themselves are covering up that sound coming back. So you see how you're losing time if you're waiting? All right, so that was a half second. So he's actually, he's 0.48, 0.46. He's right in there, exactly where he needs to be. All right, so now we're just going to go for that quarter second cadence, right? It sounds like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That was pretty good.
Right?
Can I be going?
0.21, 0.20. He's right in that time frame. Okay?
Yeah.
That felt slow to you, didn't
It
it?
did. It felt so slow.
Yeah. You're at 94, 82, 86, 90.
Okay.
That's fine. Oh my gosh.
Money.
4'8", 5'2", 5'4", 4'9", 4'8".
It's like he's done this before.
There you go.
You're up anytime.
2'2", 2'0", 2'7", 2'4", right there at
Yep.
the quarter. Good job.
Thanks.
You're good.
Stand by. It's the top.
Okay.
Nice.
Good job.
Very nice.
You did that in just shy of a minute. So
Nice.
good job.
Okay. Cool.
Much improved. Stand by. Get back. Get back. Yes, re-engage. Impact. 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 Miss, re-engage. Impact. 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 Miss, re-engage. Impact. 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 Miss, impact. 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 Miss, impact. Miss. Impact.
Oh, let's get it.
31.
Shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by. Impact. 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 Good job, Jimmy.
Wrong target.
That was 600. Just want to chime in really quick before I show you the final clip from the class, and this is the coveted hoodie test. Now, because it is the hoodie test, I couldn't give the camera to somebody else so that they could film me as I go through, so all we have is the trigger cam footage. But just know this test is the culmination of everything we've worked on in the class. Is that good? Okay. Okay. Yep. Outside of the cones, correct?
It's gotta be inside the cones.
Okay.
Okay, go. Muzzle down, you guys are looking.
Okay.
Zulu, 7, and Tango.
One hit. So that was the final test for the hoodie, the coveted Ridgeline hoodie, and I missed out on it because I shot outside of the scoring circle in the head box. So technically it was in the head box, but it was above the scoring circle, so it counted as a miss, and that cost me a hoodie. So I'll have to run it back and go try for another one. But congrats to Corey, well deserving of it. Phenomenal shooter, great dude. He helped me out with ammo and all that, getting it shipped up there so I didn't have to travel with it. Just made my life a lot easier. So thank you, Corey. I appreciate you, bro. The class as a whole, there was a lot more that I couldn't show you. So there was a lot of classroom work, a lot of data, a lot of information, particularly about their rapid engagement system, about how to read wind, how they do their wind calls. Basically everything, you know, they talk about gas gun is fast gun, and they're giving you all the information behind it of how to run a gas gun fast. And that's what happens in the classroom. And again, I can't show you that information because if you want that, go take the class. But it was cool to have all of that, to see the why behind what we're doing and to see kind of like in the weeds of everything that we were doing. Jay and Larry are both a wealth of knowledge, along with Alex, but it was Jay and Larry heading up this class. And so they shared a ton of information. They were incredibly helpful as instructors and as coaches. Now, we did work some other things that we didn't see on here because of rain, just didn't permit me to film it, or just different things we couldn't show. But one thing we worked a lot that you didn't see is just up close, working CQC distances. A lot of times at scope carbine, we tend to back up and work a lot, but they found a good way to balance the two, where we're working up close, shooting, anywhere from 3 yards out to 50 yards in, standing, kneeling, prone, different positions, working transitions. As these guns, as we put scopes on them, as we put lasers and lights and bipods and rails on them, or ARCA rails, suppressors, they add weight at the end of the gun. And so maneuvering them becomes a little bit more cumbersome. And so they worked with us on doing that, along with getting more reps in on using your offset dots at different distances, knowing your offset, and being able to use that under pressure. Now, if I would have paid more attention there and realized that that was probably going to be on the test, I would have been better prepared for that hoodie test at the end. But I was in like scope carbine mode, like we're shooting at the distance. So when I saw those targets, I was like, crap. And I just wasn't prepared. I was dialed all the way in. And again, if I would have listened and done PPU and would have dialed my optic back to 0, like they tell you, I would have been okay, would have been able to do that. But I was already dialed on because I was trying to cheat it, thinking about the next shot versus focusing on the task at hand. But that last test that you saw was targets, I want to say at like 7 yards, 5 to 7 yards. And then we had to shoot from 4 different barricades. So like concrete pipes, a stack of bricks, I think a fence, and a car were the 4 we had to shoot off of. Then you had to run upstairs. You had to shoot the moving targets, and then you had to run up again, and then you had to find targets and engage them rapidly. So in all this, being able to make your wind call and make your data call and what your hold should be. So basically the culmination of everything that we worked on throughout the week. So super grateful for the entire Ridgeline crew. Phenomenal facility. If you get the opportunity to go up there to take a class, whatever class it is, just to see the facility is amazing. They have first class instructors. They teach everything from pistol to night vision to scope carbine to precision long range. I would like to get up there and do their mountain rifle, maybe their full spectrum night vision, 2 of the classes on my kind of bucket list to do with them. They just a great group of dudes. Great facility, great area to hang out in, and thankfully I was a part of a great class. It was a great group of guys to shoot with, a lot of really good shooters, incredibly nice dudes. Just had a good time hanging out and getting better together. So appreciate you guys for following along. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I know I couldn't share all of their teaching moments and I couldn't share a lot of the other things, but grateful for what they allowed us to share and what you guys could see from it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Thank you again to Alex. Thank you to Jay and to Larry for all the information they've put out and just for just being solid dudes. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. Karate chop that bell so you get notified every time I upload a video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Crap, was I rolling? I was. Okay, good. I feel like I rambled through all of this, so we're just gonna start it all over.